Steve Smith Sr., a NFL Network analyst, on the best way to use Jamari Thrash, the wide receiver the Browns drafted out of Louisville. This from the Cut to It podcast.
I don't think he's a guy you play in the slot. I think you utilize him outside. The reason why you don't put him in the slot is this is why. In the slot, I don't think right now his framework, he's strong enough to fight off and to really use his hands and his body, because he really hasn't had to do it too much. Put him outside, because what he lacks in the slot, he will make up with his speed and his savviness and his route running outside. Yes, he may get held up. It may throw off the timing, but he won't completely eliminate himself, because his speed and his knowledge of how to get off routes, get off press, and get himself out of trouble will help him on the outside. Outside has space. Inside does not have space. You have to win immediately. He will win, but I think at times, because he's young, because it's a little bit more physical, he may slow down and think a little bit too much too soon. So I believe that playing him at X is where he can play, because he's a speed guy.
Mary Kay, I know you wrote an article about Thrash and what he has to do in his. It's really interesting. Steve Smith likes him a lot, and he's done a lot of video breakdown of him. He did some analysis and said, you know, people are criticizing the route tree. He ran the full route tree at Georgia State. Louisville didn't ask him to run the full route tree. So it was a really interesting dynamic. Take us through what you think the Browns want to see from Thrash.
Well, under Ken Dorsey, they are going to be running more of what are called choice routes. It's something that Ken got from Brian Daboll, that the Cole Beasleys ran in Buffalo when Ken was on the offensive assistant staff there, when Brian Daboll was there. It's the kind of routes that Wes Welker and Julian Edelman ran when Brian Daboll was in New England, when Chad O'Shea, Browns receivers coach, was New England. That's the kind of receiver that they're going for. And the Browns really liked Ladd McConkey, and I think that he would have been their sort of featured choice route runner in this scheme. And Jamari Thrash is sort of a poor man's version of that, not somebody that was going to go in necessarily the second round or the third round, but here he is in the fifth round. But he has the traits, he has the skill set to do it. He's got enough speed, he's got enough agility and athleticism, he's got the football acumen to do it, enough size to get the job done. So I think that is a key. And then the other thing that he's probably going to have to do is play some special teams to some degree, and I don't know exactly what role he would play on special teams, but that will help his cause.